Middle housing in the American suburb. Right now, there's a housing crisis in America, and I think the main concern right now is American suburbs. One of the issues comes in the idea of single-family dwellings. Right now, a large portion of American cities are becoming just become of have just became single-family dwellings instead of multi-family dwellings or mid-rises or other options for increased population densities. More people to move to these places. I want to quote Jane Abrams saying, cities have the capability of providing something for everybody, only because and only when they are created by everybody. That's not something that happens in a lot of cities. They're being created for one type of people. And unfortunately, that's not often the people who need it the most. Suburbs were a very unique thing. It became a staple of the American people. Moved own your own home, living with a nuclear family in a tight-knit suburban neighborhood. Everyone wanted to live in the suburbs. It was the bee's knees. But it wasn't attainable for everybody, and the long-term effects are coming out now. One, which is low population density. Two, increased carbon footprint. Three, historic involvement with wetland and racial inequality in America. Some people might argue for still, saying they force single-family homes, or that single-family homes are aesthetically pleasing, or that we want protection against density. But the problem is, a lot of these are opinions, and we also don't want protection against it. We want to get more dense. And by going for dental on the ground in these large areas, going along the XY plane instead of going on the Z vertical, we can avoid having just large high rises which dominate the landscape. R1 zoning in American cities. R1 zoning is the common term for residential single-family housing. R1 is not always used. Sometimes they'll use R square foot, or if it's under a certain amount of square foot, they use RSL, as they do in Seattle. Right now, large Boston cities are just set up for single-family dwellings, such as Seattle is at 81%, San Jose is 94%, and Portland is 77%. These cities could easily transition these areas and become in multi-family dwellings and see a dramatic increase in availabilities for housing. Redline suburbs. Redlining was a legal form of racial discrimination where African American citizens couldn't get bank loans and were prohibited from taking advantage of social programs such as the New Deal or GI Bill, where typically white Americans could still take the effect of the same thing. And then the suburbs became a majority of white Americans, and they still control most of it to this day. Now we come to the next issue where today historically black neighborhoods are still in that low class compared to predominantly white neighborhoods, and the white neighborhoods are moving into their places, and they're buying them out and forcing them out because they're wasting the price of living, so they can't live anymore. So people who couldn't leave the place originally in the mid 20th century are being forced out today in the 21st century. Encouraging growth. If we just say you can now build multifamily dwellings, it's not going to happen overnight. We need to give this we need this motion a force. We need to push it along and say, okay, here's some funding, do this, get it at it. If we don't do that, nothing's going to happen. Right now, we're pretty close to the 30% attainability at 100,000 per median income, and went being about 2,500 to 3,000. And for most part, for 3 bedroom, for family, it's pretty attainable. But if we bring it down just a little bit, we're pretty close to getting there, and we can get it. Here's the plan. 1. Revise zoning laws, which would be important 2 things. 1. Requiring future construction to have either less space on the lot or make more family space dwellings for lots. 2. Encourage growth through subsidies and grants. 3. Support racial equality by making people have a stronger sense of community and trust in each other, which will allow us to increase safety and be more tightly knit community. Diversity is good for the people. To close out, here's my future goals. Scalability. 1. I think we could be used in other cities. The MP has been a prominent in other things, and we've seen states have wanted to top this for the statewide, such as Oregon and California. They've been faced resistance. If we can show them that it's proof it can be done, it can be done right, like Seattle, then other cities will follow, and then it can be a national movement. Here are my sources. Thank you, and have a good day.